Hey guys, so in part 2 of the series I made a mistake with the code that manages our player animation. So because of the nature of the animation, it's quite imperceptible, but you might have seen it if you're using different sprites. I've slowed down the game speed so that you can see what's happening. So the number right here is just the X frame variable of the player, which if you remember is basically controlling what frame the player is on. So you can see here that the last frame, frame 8, which is actually the 9th frame, remember, because we're starting at 0. So frame 8 isn't playing properly. It's only staying here for a fraction of a second before looping back to the start. And that's not what we want. We want the frame to play fully before we loop. Now, when we're animating, it doesn't actually just snap from one integer to the other. I've just done that for simplicity right here, but our X frame is actually changing by fractions of a number. Remember, it was our anim speed, which was 12 over 60, so that's going to be a decimal number. So, and as an aside, this is also how the player's image index is going to be working, even if you're not using a sort of custom animation system like the one that we've set up. What this means is that, so for example, frame 0, the first frame 0 is going to be playing while X frame is equal to a number between 0 and 1. Then, once it hits frame 1 is going to start playing while X frame is a number between 1 and 2, and it goes on like that. So our frame 8 should be playing until it hits 9, but that's not what's happening here, as you can see. It's getting to 8 and then immediately coming back to the start, to 1. So let's look at our code. So this right here is saying if X frame is less than anim length minus 1, then increment it. Otherwise, loop back to the beginning. So if you recall, we had 9 character frames for our walk animation. Our anim length was 9. So if we substitute that in, we're going to get if X frame is less than 9 minus 1, then increment it, but otherwise loop back to the beginning. So you can see our problem. It's only allowing us to increment if we're under 8. And as soon as we get over 8, it's going to loop back to the beginning. It's not going to allow anything between 8 and 9. So we're going to have to change this. So firstly, let's drag this code up here. I think it makes more sense to be dealing with what frame we're on before we draw the character. Right now, because it's down here, it's sort of preparing the X frame for the next step, which to me doesn't really make much sense, so let's move it up. Okay, now we have to change this. So we're going to change the logic a little bit. What we're going to say instead is only increment the X frame if it doesn't put us over the maximum number of frames we have. So we'll write if X frame plus our anim speed over 60, so this is saying if our current X frame plus one more increment. If this is less than our maximum anim length, then go ahead and increment it. So if incrementing it would put us over the max anim length, then loop back to the start. Okay, and if we have a look in game now, we can see that it's working properly. It gets to 8 and it plays through the whole animation before looping back to the start. So that's it. I'm sorry for that mistake, guys, and a big thank you to Sam for pointing that out to me. I hope it's helped you get a better understanding of how our animations work. So bye guys, and I'll see you next time.